Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a watch that represents one of the easiest points of entry to one of the most elite brands in the world. Bovet is a company that is entirely private, issues no advertising, and yet sells out its production without effort. So prestigious is its name and its distinct design language. So Bovet created this, the Sportster, powered by a high-grade chronometer certified version of the 7750 automatic, converted to work like a 70s style bullhead chrono. This also has unmistakable Bovet styling. From across the room, you know who made it. That is the strength of its design DNA. The watch, in rose gold, measures a very manageable 40 millimeters in diameter, 14.9 millimeters thick, and then from lug tip to lug tip, and they are asymmetrical lugs, but the distance is 53.3 millimeters, and the watch requires proprietary straps or custom straps. Now that's not a problem because Bovet is ready to help you out on that front. Much like the Amadeo case, it has the look of a clock or maybe a pocket watch converted into a wristwatch. That's why I say this watch has strong Bovet design language. It immediately communicates who made it. Bovet cases are as distinctive as Moser's dials. And you can see because the lugs are a little bit unconventional in the way they hinge, this actually wears really easily for something that's technically 53 millimeters across the wrist. You can see that the case is well inboard the edge of my wrist, and that's more evident even when you view it down the barrel, as I like to say. We have a sloped bezel, so it will slide underneath jacket cuffs, just perhaps not the tightest of dress sleeves. The watch is weighty and substantial. They're not shorting you the gold. We have large scale alligator leather in matte black, and there is substantial bolstering or stuffing to give it volume. You can see we have a sheer cut side showing you the thick layers of leather, a monotone stitch, and on the bottom calfskin. No crimping, no gouging. This is a Bovet factory strap, and it comes with a Bovet factory full clasp. The clasp features a fluting along its profile, a combination of polish and satin, handsome detailing. We'll open it up. You can see that the manufacturer from Moitié does not short you the gold. There is a radial spring that is friction fit to snap into the socket and keep this clasp robustly secured. Now, taking a look at the case itself, you can see that the strap is fixed in place using a combination of screws, bars, and then a spring bar that goes through the opposite side. The case is rounded in profile. We have a inward step to the bezel to visually break up the mass, and then a little bit of an upward kick or a flange surrounding the crystal. There's also a fluting to the edges of the hinge lug, and you can see the Bovet company symbol as Bovet makes these parts. You can see crown, case, and when we were inside the clasp, Bovet making the clasp as well. Bovet in Moitié has a factory that is one and the same as a castle. So this is one of the few watches you will ever encounter made in a castle. Now, it does have a glorious black lacquer dial that is incredibly reflective and looks expensive. It has almost a vintage style gilt printing where the characters are all in a sort of dulled rose gold, skeletonized baton hands, a lovely serpentine running seconds hand, and a polished frame for the double-digit grande date. We have sub-registers for the minutes and the chronograph hours, and we have a bullhead style system, so when you're operating it in the hand, it's much like a pocket watch. Start, stop, and then reset, just like that. It is, after all, the Sportster for driving enthusiasts and motorsports fans. And to that end, it has a tachometer on the scale that can be used with a car on, for example, a kilometer to gauge the speed. So when the car starts the kilometer, you start the chrono. When the car finishes the kilometer, you stop the chrono. And in this case, our car would be going 350 kilometers per hour. That's a very, very fast car. We have sub-registers, which are slightly sunken. They have matted concentric patterns to give them a tonal contrast with the rest of the dial. You can see the Sportster logo featuring a little bit of italics halfway through the script. And then you can note this watch on a different strap would absolutely be swimmable. Speak to Bovet because they have other options available that are water resistant. 100 meters water resistance and a certified chronometer. Now we have a couple of features here. One is the double-digit date, which has a quick set mechanism. We also have hacking seconds, so you can stop the watch if you wish. Watch the action of the seconds hand. Notice how when I start it, it doesn't have any extraneous movement. That's not because the watch has a vertical clutch. It's because it has an oscillating pinion clutch. The clutch on a 7750 architecture is lateral, but it's what's called an oscillating pinion. Now you can see the little wire spring and the clutch lever just below my finger. The oscillating pinion has very little play compared to a standard lateral clutch. So if you press and hold, you almost never get any jump or extraneous movement of the seconds hand with a oscillating pinion style lateral clutch. And that's something that's germane to all 7750s, but it's also catching on at the high end of the market right now as Richard Mille de Bethune and FP Journe have all launched their own oscillating pinion clutch watches. Now it does still use a cam, and you can see the cam here polished with blued screws. The movement 7750 based, but chronometer certified and adjusted in 5 positions. We have a blued and beautifully hand finished 22 karat rotor, not 21, not 18, not blued tungsten. This is 22 karat gold, no expense spared. The movement is not extensively hand finished, it's mostly mechanically finished, but there are handsome flourishes, a little bit of beveling on the winding bridge, polishing on the reset and cam springs, as well as the start-stop hammer, polishing on the cam. We have a little bit of a plating of gold on the pivot for the minute counter to make it look like a vintage golden chaton. Unidirectional winding, 42-hour power reserve. All this pivots on 28 joules. Beats away at 4 hertz, and you can see Edicron is used for fine adjustment. You've got the micrometric, but then you have the silver key for beat error, and you have the gold key for making small timing adjustments. Again, 42 hours of power reserve, and the combination of cam and oscillating pinion clutch. All this 300 meters water resistant. If you love this watch, reach out to me. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.